Good afternoon, good day, good morning, high-octane friends, the many hordes of high-octane friends, well, perhaps in the future, as I like to say. But you know what? After today's very special guest, Nadine Miller, we may get hordes, right, Nadine? I'm sure there will be a gem and a germ come out.
Sure.
Well, probiotic. There will be at least a probiotic thrown out there. So, of course, Nadine is extremely shy, as you will come to know, but we can ask her to give us a little bit of an introduction about herself. But today is freeform. Coming to you live from my perspective. As you can see, I'm in one of many penthouse apartments around the world. Today, I am in Shinjuku, Tokyo, which is fantastic. I was thinking about doing this from my basement, which is to what my lovely wife has always relegates me in our home in Toronto. Anyway, I'm in Shinjuku. And nice to see you guys. Trevor, do you want to say something before we unleash the beast, Nadine?
Oh, great. I think that's what my ex-husband calls me, the beast.
Beauty and the beast. Well, I think we're probably the beasts. You're the beauty.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that version.
Although I did moisturize today. So I'm good to go. So I'm not as beastly as I might normally be.
There you go. No, yeah, Nadine's been a friend for many, many years and has had a fascinating kind of, trajectory through business and through even research and number of different degrees. So I think Nadine, do you want to maybe just give a quick background for yourself, if you don't mind? Yeah.
Well, I think fascinating research. I think if you were to characterize my research that I did in grad school, which anyone can download from the MIT libraries, you do Nadine Miller and thesis on the internet, it will put you to sleep. 300 pages.
I've been looking for a way to sleep more so.
Yeah, I think it's 300 pages of instant sleep. If you have insomnia, this is the cure for you.
There you go.
Sorry. So a little bit about myself. Well, I am openly call myself Nerdine. So that should, I'm an engineer. I met Trevor through the MIT Club of Toronto. So
I just want to be clear for our audience, because I always have to qualify what MIT is, but I think I got it wrong last time. I think I said it's the Mayberry Institute of Technology, but you corrected me last time. What is MIT?
I did, yeah. So it's the Manitoulin Institute of Trucking.
Right. And yet you're wearing a You're wearing a fast. Where's your trucker hat that you normally wear?
Well, I decided to dress up. I am in Lisbon today.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've been traveling around. Well, I've been in Europe for the past month. So
I didn't know trucks went across like transatlantic. Now, is that a new thing?
Well, I decided to go to Malta so I could drive on the wrong side of the road, and now I'm back on the right side of the road. So we'll see. Right. I'm just learning my way through the trucking industry.
Absolutely.
Right. There you go. Yeah. Well, I guess if your rig is big enough, then you can just kind of drive on whatever side of the road you wish, right? Without harming you, at least. Well, is that not kind of semi-metaphorical for like your life and career? I was thinking you're kind of like a scythe cutting through the forest of thick people.
I like to call myself a Renaissance person.
Oh, okay. Because
I kind of have done everything, right? So I started engineering and mining. Then I went to MIT, did advanced soil mechanics, total snore, worked in mining afterwards, designing and closing tailings facilities, which is like the junk that is produced from the mills when you're making gold, any metal that you're producing. So I would design tailings facilities in a team, and we would make sure that it would last through an earthquake, a flood, not a glacier, because if a glacier's come in, we're all in trouble.
Yeah.
And then I got onto boards because of my specialization, in mining, and I've been sitting on boards, and I've had like really great opportunities. And I sit on a VC fund advisory. I'm an advisor for a VC fund, and I'm on 3 mining boards. And it's fun. It's and then I've started because I've done well on the mining boards. Taken, working and doing that for the past 10 years. And I'm now funding my own tech startup, which is kind of like amalgamating everything that I've done. And I'm funding it with gold. So as gold goes up, I don't have to find it. I don't have to look for money.
Yeah, much to the chagrin, perhaps, of that VC fund that you're advising, right? They would maybe like to fund you, but you might be in a position to say no.
Well, right now I'm in a great position. I'm old and I have money.
And then along the way, picked up a MBA from.
I did.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. For Oxford, that tutoring place on the corner.
Oh yeah, it's that dirty old. Well, that's a dirty old school in England, isn't it?
Around for like 800 years. 1231. I just like old schools or yeah.
Old schools, but not old ideas.
Yeah, listen, Oxford was great. I really enjoyed that. All the schools I've been to, like University of Toronto, MIT, and Oxford, just fabulous for me. And then everywhere I've worked, I pinched myself, and because of what I've done, I have these great opportunities. And so. In 2 weeks, there's going to be an article about me coming out in Dolce magazine. So I bought myself a diamond tiara.
I just want to check that I heard that right, because at first I thought you said Gold Chain magazine, but it's Dolce.
No, Dolce, like Dolce Vita. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said Gold Chain magazine. I'm like, what is that? A rapper?
Well, yeah. No. It's so I bought a tiara at auction. Because I'm on a silver mining company board, and silver's really done well since I got on that board. I'm on gold mining company boards, and I've just joined a copper gold company board. And so I have the ability to buy myself a tiara, and right. I did.
As you would.
Not just one from Amazon, because I know I've made you guys wear tiaras.
Yes.
So now I have a real one, and I have my Amazon one, which I still wear.
Where's the real one? Is it not? You didn't want to travel with it, I guess.
It's in the bank. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's in the vault. Okay. So no, it's not that. It's I don't have a proper case for it. So I'm going to India in 2 weeks, and I'm going to have a proper case made for it, made out of silver, since it's silver that allowed me to buy the tiara. So
very cool. Wow.
Yeah. So, and then I get to hang out and talk with you guys too.
There you go. Thank you for spending time with us today. There's a lot to dig into there, and maybe we can talk about a few of those things. So your own startup. Yeah. Right? I don't know. Do you feel comfortable naming it or telling us anything about it?
So I own our product is called Nightingale. I own the website, Our Nightingale, and it is in age tech. So I've done a lot of, I did tailings work, but I also through my career have done a lot of, I did business development for 2 of the largest engineering companies, and I worked with a lot of process engineers, and so I learned a lot about processing plants and using inspiration from my experience there. I've got my team in Australia, and we are building a new tech that will allow senior citizens to stay at home longer, age in place, or die in place. And so really what it is because I'm an absolute stalker of my father, who's 83.
Yeah, I was going to say this really emerged out of it's almost a user innovation from your experience, right?
Yeah. So my partner and I, we travel all over the world, and my father is 83, and he has gotten very sick. He became septic in January of 2024. That was super scary. And, you know, he had a stroke in August of 2021. And this is when I thought, oh no, when he came home from the hospital, he couldn't do anything. And he couldn't even turn on the lights. And so I made the house a smart house. I started tinkering around, and I electrocuted myself a couple times, but that was fun.
Yeah.
I made it a smart house so he could voice control it.
Great.
And he loves it because my father can just lie in bed and he doesn't know if he's turned off the lights, and he just tells the house, turn off all the lights. And it does. And so, and then my partner's father, he got his hip needed to be replaced, and he was 93 at the time. And they didn't want to give him a hip replacement. And so he really went from bowling to only being able to use a walker and going about 10 centimeters or 4 inches at a time. And so my partner and I, he retired, and we started looking after his dad for 18 months. And so he convinced them, because he's a force to be reckoned with, this 94-year-old man who's 93, to give him a new hip, and he got a new hip, and he is just motoring. I mean, it's unbelievable, the difference. But when his mobility became an issue and he was in so much pain, I made his house smart as well. But I needed to go more than what I did with my father, because he's got macular degeneration, so he's legally blind. And I made it that he could use the microwave, turn his coffee on, turn his all voice command. He loves his dishwasher. He can voice command the dishwasher. He just tells it to turn on. So it's been great. And so we've made it so we're using millimeter radar so that we can also monitor where he is in the house. He unplugs all the cameras. Same with my father. I mean, the cameras are a no-go. And so we're doing it so that we can really see where they are. And it just allows you some peace of mind. And we're looking at the statistics, because, I'm an engineer, so we can do the joint probability of certain occurrences going on, and you'd get a notification.
That's amazing. There's nothing like humanity, right? And caring about humanity, in this case, your family members, to drive technology, And
so we're now we've installed in 2 test homes, and we're looking to expand that. So I'm happy to stock you guys too. I tell my what?
Oh, well, I hope it doesn't come to this point, but like, you reminded me of my own mother, who's 95. And I remember calling you, Trevor, like a couple years ago or something. Mm-hmm. I think she's 96 or 97 now. No, she's 97. And I always get this wrong, something like that. And like it was a year or two ago, I was out there, and I went out she's in Vancouver, and I went out on the back porch, and I was talking to you, Trevor. And then I realized, hey, I have to stop you and tell you, because I can't believe my eyes. My mom was, as she does, vigorously tilling the soil in her back garden. And so, like your father-in-law, right? Or kind of father-in-law. We were talking about Mr. Phil, yes. Right?
Yeah.
So, being active and doing all that stuff's amazing. And I'm not sure our generation is going to be have the same health span that, our parents' generation have, and grandparents, because they're always out doing stuff. I hear stories about my grandfather, Murphy, and in Dublin. It's like he never had a car his whole life. He walked every day. He rode his bicycle well into his 80s and all these things. He walked to church, but he'd still like go to the pub every day and have a bunch of beers and whiskeys, and then go bet on the ponies and do everything. Super social.
Yeah.
Wasn't sitting.
Well, I mean, I have to say that because Phil and I have been living in a retirement community in Texas, and the number of 90-plus-year-olds that I have met, and they're at the dances, they're dancing. There was this one that, I can't dance. I'm an engineer. I look like Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld. And he like twirls me around the dance floor, and I'm, here I am. And I'm like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
That's great. That's great.
Oh, it's just inspiring to see. And we don't have anything like that in Canada. So it's called, it's called Sun City, and they have, I think, 12,000 homes. So I say it's about 1.5 people, because they're still couples. And then, as time passes, there might only be one of the couple left. So you have a significant number of senior citizens, and they don't want to go into independent living or assisted living, or, God forbid, they have to go into memory care. And it is a significant cost.
Yeah. No. My grandparents lived in something similar. It was a village, and it was kind of, it was definitely a retirement community. But they had sort of stages. You could live in your independent cottage, or and then as maybe you got older, you could transition into sort of more frail care. But this is just like they each have their house, whether it's a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom, and it's fun to see what Texans do when it snows 1 millimeter. Panicked. Yes.
And terrible hail in parts of Texas. You know that, right? Like,
I was, but it's look, when the weather gets cold like that, the entire state stops.
Yes,
Yeah, but if you think about it, a Texas winter is a Canadian summer. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's. I know it appears very obviously that I am indeed in Shinjuku, Tokyo, but I'm not. I am indeed in Toronto, and it's 16 degrees here today, right, Trevor? Have you been outside at all?
Yeah, no, it's great. No, I'm going to be probably doing some gardening a bit later.
What about Lisbon? It's probably 30, right?
No, it's 20 degrees here, but it's really nice. It's beautiful. And I was in Malta for the weeks prior to that, and it was chilly, like really windy, but chilly at 15 degrees.
Yeah. And did they put on coats?
Yeah. I mean, they complain about the cold. It gets up to in the 40s in the summer for them, right? So, but it's it was a lot of fun. I had it. I was also in Andorra. It's not just a planet. Right.
It's the smallest nation in Europe, correct?
It is. But I just thought, I'm like, Andorra, isn't that from Avatar?
Sounds like it. Did you go skiing?
My son went snowboarding, and I did the après ski.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very good at that.
Yeah.
I just had lunch with somebody on Friday, and I met her at Tech Skis recently in Ontario. But anyway, she was telling me about how she went this winter on a ski trip to Montana, which is something I've always wanted to do. And her mother, who's apparently a fabulous skier. So this woman is 33, and her mother, I'm guessing she's like maybe 60 or something, and a fabulous skier. Wouldn't you know it? On the very first run, she falls, separates her shoulder, and does some other stuff. Like, that sucks big time. Like, not just a pain, but your first run, my God.
Yeah.
So I stick to the bunny hills.
Yeah.
And it's really great because all the 4-year-olds tell you everything about what's going on in their family. And then you walk around Whistler Village and like, oh, that's the little unicorn that told me everything about grandma and her boyfriend.
That's too funny.
It's so cute. They're like, they tell you on the lift how many stars they have, and I'm like, I don't have any stars, and they just think that like,
yeah.
can't get enough of them. So I just stick to the bunny slopes.
Awesome.
So I was on the bunny slopes with my kid for a scouting based sort of ski group ski trip, and it was a lot of fun, and he did really well. He got right up there even after like not really having any lessons, but I think it was managing expectations that like falling down is part of skiing, and getting up from falling down is something you need to learn. So
but I'm paranoid now. Like my main thing when I go on skiing is just I don't want to fall.
Yeah,
because And especially after a few years ago, I think it was 2021, we were still in the midst of COVID, but I went skiing with my son, and I told him this many times before to please stop doing what he was always doing, which was following closely behind me. And he was always pushing me to go faster. I'm like, please don't follow so close to me, because, it could be an accident. And then one time, of course, that happened. Like, I decided, instead we normally go right, and I decided to go, no, I normally go straight and decided to go right. Of course, he crashed into me and like separated, cracked, whatever, my ribs. It was really bad in my hip. So like, I'm paranoid about that now, falling. So yeah. And I recently seized up my neck. When I went to that tech ski thing, like a day later, my neck completely seized up, and I was going to Paris, like in a few days. I was freaking out. It was like, I'm going to be, this was like for our 25th wedding anniversary and ostensibly to celebrate my birthday. But in reality, of course, it was my lovely wife's way of saying, hey, I get to go and hang out and buy more handbags from the likes of Chanel and Hermes. I'm under no illusions.
Well, I suggest you do like I do and just hang out at the Bunny Hill.
Yes, I probably should. Yeah.
Because you can fall there. It's fine.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not going very fast.
Yeah. But you know what? I didn't actually fall, and I still seized up my neck. I think what it was is like the very first run of the day, there were not one, but two former Olympians. And one was on the national ski team, one female and one male. And it's like, oh yeah, you want to go down? You want to start your day off right? And I'm like, yeah. And then I get to the top. This was at Osler, which is a private ski club. Not bad in Collingwood for Ontario. And we're at the top, and I'm like, oh shit, what have I done? Like, I can't take it. And I wasn't warm. Like, I wasn't warmed up at all. I'm doing it. But then I think that set the tone for the day. And there was one guy I ended up going up with later, and I think that's what did it. And he was super good. I'm a good skier, but like some people are really, really good, of course. And I think he just went faster than I was comfortable and don't need to do. But I didn't want to be a suck. So I think it's, I probably just went over a few things. I probably, rattled something loose.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's all those microplastics in me that got loose somehow. So maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Human tailings, right, Nadine, so to speak.
Well, if you want
to. Sorry, that probably gave you an image.
Carnage. I mean, I think it's carnage.
Yes. So that's awesome. Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to talk about other than skiing, see where we go. But was your what is it again? RN Nightingale? Is that the name of
our OUR, our Nightingale? And so yeah, so I mean, Florence Nightingale, and I'm moving the head office to Florence, Texas. So, I got Florence Nightingale there.
Yeah.
And did you know that Florence Nightingale was a statistician? And so because we're doing a lot of, we're using AI and statistics. And so, I just felt it made sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And what gave you the confidence to say, I want to do this, I want to do it as a company?
So I mean, I was redoing Phil Senior's home, and I'm, cyber stalking my father, and I thought, well, I can't be the only one. I've got kids. I'm the sandwich, right? So I've got kids, and I have senior parents, and we're traveling a lot, and I have to work, and I have to do this, and so how can I do this so I still feel comfortable? And, so I mean, Phil and I were in New York, and I'm looking at my father's stats, and I realized that my father, before he got a CPAC, was only sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night. And we're in New York City, and I look and I see that my father has slept 9 hours. So I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? Yeah. So when I call my father, I'm like, are you okay? Are you feeling okay? And he's like, what? I go, well, I just noticed that you slept for 9 hours instead of your regular 4 to 5. And he's like, okay, I'm tired. I said, okay, as long as you're tired and it's not because, you're not feeling well. So I'm like, I'm going to be watching you. He's like, I'm sure you will. He's like, how are you doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. I know how I'm doing it, but you can't know. So, but now he's all into it. He's all like, he's ready to get fully monitored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And
So,
how did you find the team, like the tech team that you're working with?
well, there was another startup that I was involved with, and it didn't work out. We were trying to get funding, and we just, what's really great about trying to get funding and not getting it is you get a few scars on you, and you get better with your pitches. And so really I was pitching to funds that were too big. Right? So they don't I was using my contacts, and they don't write checks for less than $50 million. And, I needed way less than that. And so I was, way too early. But when I go to them now, they're going to, I'm going to know. So it was, so we went to South Africa for that fund. We were going to be merging a few companies, and we were looking to buy the IP of the team that I am working with, that they developed. And so
you mentioned that your team is in Australia and
Sri Lanka.
And Sri Lanka. I'm just that kind of caught my attention for two reasons, not the least of which is because, as you know, I work for this Australia-based company called Think and Grow, which is a tech advisory company now, in addition to other things I do, but also because I recall you'd mentioned to me that maybe it was the previous team, you were working with these former nuclear.
Yeah. So, I don't really want to say what they're working on because it is a little classified, or a lot classified, but yeah, they have done some pretty exciting tech for really large navies.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. And so, what they've done on the ships, we're going to do the homes, just no nukes.
Right. That's the mission statement. No nuclear.
No nukes. Well, though I am a big supporter of small nuclear reactors, so that's a difference.
Reactors, but no.
Yeah.
Well, if you listen to the advertisements, although you're not in Ontario these days much, but if you watch the advertisements from Doug Ford and his group of his merry band of like intellectuals, of course, that they would have you think that like there are just little modular nuclear reactors popping up everywhere as opposed to just something far off in the distance. But
they have a test site in Ontario.
Yeah.
I have a friend that was working in that area, and I don't recall where it is in Northern Ontario, but they are testing it.
I hope it happens soon.
Well, really, it's the way to go, especially in Canada's north. It would help communities. There's a lot of things that tech can do to improve lives. You're not. Yeah. And they're really small. Right. So
what does that mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like put it.
Well, it's not like it's not like
a trucking rig. Like how trucking rig.
Sure, modular. They're built to be modular.
Okay.
Right. So it's not like Darlington Nuclear Power Plant in Ontario, which you have problems there because it's an old nuclear power plant. Right. So there's no dampers. There's no dial to turn the nuke up or down. Look, I think that we need to. I'm very pro nuclear power. So, yeah.
Well, it looks like Germany is going to eventually be forced to. I think some people are changing their thinking in Germany, right? Because with post Vladimir Putin and his Russian people invading Ukraine, and then of course not being able to. Well, I guess they could have still bought the LNG from Russia, but they don't want to do that. So in lieu of that, what do you do? So nuclear power, but Germany has been so against that historically. But I think that the tide is changing, which makes sense because the French have already figured this out, right?
Oh yeah, they're so far advanced. So I think with the administration in the U.S., you could probably put a nuclear facility in a national park right now.
Yeah, in Yellowstone. go see the geysers, and then over there go see the nuclear plant, which happens to be glowing. Oh well.
But I mean, and especially, I mean, with all of this this stuff happening with the Strait of Hormuz, and like the uncertainty in the oil supply, right? Looking at these renewable or other forms of alternative forms of energies is important. So.
Well, it was really interesting being in Malta right now, and because I didn't realize what an important place Malta was in the Second World War. And that's how the Allies got into Italy and backed the Germans up. And so we were at a few museums, and I was really, really impressed. And, first they fortified the airspace. I don't know if this is sounding familiar.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were boots on the ground.
Yeah.
They sent in the ships, so they could get in. And they start. I mean, there's a great video where the Allies were taking over Sicily and then, moving forward. And the Germans are backing out, and really quite interesting. So, a few parallels.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
well, I think the whole thing with, particularly with the war and the invasion of Iran and the spiking of oil prices and any carbon fuels like that in general, I think it will force us to some degree, I hope to an effective degree, to rethink this idea of using fossil fuels, and I hope it will accelerate us away from it.
Well,
silver linings, I guess, is the only thing I can draw from that.
Yeah, I don't really think that we're gonna go away from fossil fuels, but if you do look at, Trump did secure Venezuela's oil supply. Yeah, but protecting Guyana's oil supply.
Yeah, but then I heard was it the CEO of Exxon and other companies, like, it doesn't matter, like that. We don't invest in those places because they're too freaking dangerous.
That's not true. Exxon is all over Guyana. Exxon. So I'm on a mining company board and try to get a helicopter in Guyana right now. Exxon has all the helicopters. So Exxon is all in Guyana. They're not all in Venezuela yet, but Guyana has a larger oil field than all of the Middle East.
Okay.
And they're actively, getting oil from there. Right. That's why the British Navy and the U.S. Navy was there when Maduro was saying that everything from the Essequibo River west was part of Venezuela. That's all of the oil and all of the minerals.
So what is the argument? Because I don't remember the details, and of course this is your area of expertise, but I do, and maybe it wasn't. I think it was the Exxon guy, but maybe him or others, and they just were kind of, maybe they were being political about it, but basically was saying, well, it's not really investable. So Venezuela wasn't investable before the Trump administration went in. Right.
And they might have been speaking about Venezuela, but they weren't speaking about Guyana. Guyana is a very different country from Venezuela and completely investable. In fact, I think that there's only 700,000 Guyanese living in Guyana, and there's more Guyanese in the city of Toronto. Yeah. So
I know one. That's right. I do know one.
Yeah, there will be the GDP of Guyana is going to increase drastically. I mean, it's really interesting if you go and you read up what the presence of Exxon and oil in Guyana means to that country. I often make a joke because right by where we have our site in Guyana, the government is building to Brazil what I call the super galactic highway, a la Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where they're just building this super highway to Brazil, and that is for supply. Right?
What about Canada and our oil? And the Carney administrations talk about Canada being, or potentially being, what does he say? A energy superpower. Obviously, he's not only talking about
Well, I mean, we have a lot of LNG in in the north of Canada. So I'm going to really speak about mining, and you can draw your parallels from that. The province of Newfoundland has expedited permitting in Newfoundland, and other parts of Canada have done the opposite. And so where are people going to invest their money? If I wanted to buy a mining stock, and I'm not on any boards in Newfoundland, which is why I'm using Newfoundland as an example, I would be putting my money in Newfoundland. If I was an investor.
They've made it easier to gain.
I mean, I was at this conference in Colorado, and I went to all the CEOs of all the mining companies in Newfoundland, and they're up there and they're going, well, it only took us 45 days to get our permits. I mean, that's really what we need to do in order to get the materials that we need for our supply chains. And quite frankly, mining is the beginning of the supply chain. Right. And so you're not going to have, pardon?
Sorry, how long does it normally take? So 45 is very quick.
So for example, from discovery of an asset, from discovery to production can take, between 15 and 30 years, depending on where you are.
Wow.
And so that is why the U.S. has the critical minerals. They just put silver on that list. So they're doing everything to expedite the permitting process. And it's not that they're cutting corners. It's just, it can take a really long time. So.
Is it true that they're not cutting corners? I mean, I think
you can't cut corners in mining. There's standards. So
thinking about indigenous people on land and stuff, we have a lot of that in Canada. I don't know to what extent that is in the United States, but that this is a very political question, I guess. But to what extent do you just override the rights of the indigenous people on near or otherwise affected by the mining and that?
Well, I think I'm going to put the question back to you. How does the indigenous community benefit if it takes 30 plus years to put in something that will benefit the community?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why mining companies have IBAs. So you can't, neither side, you can't do it too quickly, and you can't make it take forever and not give mining licenses because of that.
What do you think is a reasonable timeline instead of 15 to 30 years to get a mine into production?
Well, I think you need to look at what other countries are doing, and what is reasonable is you have investors. I mean, there's a whole ecosystem, right? It's not that these mines just magically appear, but you have shareholders, you have this, and so where are shareholders going to put their money? They're going to put their money where they're going to get their return fastest. And so you don't. This is capitalism. And China's its mining is national, right? So it's under. It is one of the key industries, and they're highly protective of how they do their processing of critical elements. So, there are specialists there. We don't even know how to do it in some cases. So,
So there's almost a know-how in addition to the actual presence of the rare elements.
Yeah, let me look something up. Hold on. I think it's zirconium phosphate is a prime example. It's used in defense. It's the only place to get it is China.
Can I bring this back to MIT and not the Manitoulin Island of but the other one, the one
the one in Massachusetts?
Yeah, the lesser one.
Yeah.
So schools like that, or I'm going to open up a fucking can of worms here. Down the road, Harvard or Caltech or whatever these schools that have considerable tech talent and people, and in the context of, let's say, West versus East, or even more pointedly, West versus or vis-a-vis China. You said something very interesting to me. You said in mining, for example, I'm sure this goes for other areas of technology, that they have developed their technologies, their processes and things that we're not privy to. They don't open it up.
That's in China.
And yet, like, some people get really upset about this, I think. And I'm trying to be open-minded. I'm not tipping my hat in any way. But, I guess there has been a lot of talk in the last several years about, like, okay, if you're too open, and even in Canada we have this, so like they go to Waterloo or U of T or whatever, and they come and they study at these schools that are developing lots of technology and doing lots of research, and then we're open to people coming from places like China and learning all these processes and developing these processes and then going back there. But the sharing is not a two-way street. I guess what I want to touch on. So I'm curious about both your opinions.
Well, I mean, I was at MIT in February of 2001 when the ship was bombed in the Gulf, right? And that was Osama bin Laden. I was also there when the U.S. spy plane had to land, an emergency landing in China. And it was, they had people in America, especially in 2001. I mean, in September of 2001, there were people from the bin Laden family in Massachusetts studying at the best schools, right? So I don't know how you stop that, but just because you're related to someone doesn't mean that you're a bad person.
Yeah.
I've heard relatives that I think are a bit questionable, maybe not bin Laden level, but
yeah.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when, like, my fellow classmates were like, we need to get rid of all the Chinese nationals, especially when that spy plane landed. And I thought, oh, wow, I had never experienced anything like that. I mean,
I wouldn't say that, but I do know there are people that talk like that. And I was at a tech company some years ago, and this would have been, I think it was 2019. I know exactly when it was. It was 2019. And I and the CEO and another person were helping to raise a follow-on round of investment. And we were scrambling around because we were growing rapidly, but we had forecast that by the fall of that year, we were going to run out of money, right? And in lieu of just like slowing everything down such that we wouldn't be burning money, we had to raise again, right? This is a standard kind of way of operating for high growth startups, as you well know, I'm sure. And so we were like, oh, where do we get that? And so we had some follow-on people that would follow. And, the thing is to get the lead investor. And so, I had a lot of people that said, yes, we're going to get in, but you need to find your lead because, like, nobody really wants to go first. And they're responsible for the due diligence and blah, blah, blah. And so we found it. We were doing a $20 million raise, and we needed that, like, basically $10 million lead to come in. And we found it. And it was a company that was in Hong Kong, and they had a subsidiary in Hong Kong, but they like China, and you could debate whether or not they were at that point even separate or not, whatever. But then all of the follow-on investment was in North America, primarily in the United States. And so they're like, yeah, as soon as you get that lead, come back and we're in. So I went back. I remember having these conversations, and one by one, it's like, okay, yeah, tell us who it is. It's this company, and it's China. Nope, absolutely not. We're not going to put any dollars in if there's a Chinese lead investor. It's like, holy fuck. And that was kind of at its apogee, that whole talk about that. I would never be one to say, because I think, apart from the immorality of it and just like the shittiness of it, saying, okay, let's just kick out all the Chinese from our schools. Like, well, first of all, how do you do that? And you're cutting your nose off to spite your face, right? But I do think there should be, I don't know. I don't know if I can answer, but like, it's not just like kicking people out and doing that, but you have to figure out a way to make this a little bit more two-way and taking advantage of them. I don't know. You guys have worked in that world at a much deeper level than I ever have, but I'm aware of that sort of thing. When you were talking about it, Nadine, it just kind of struck me.
Yeah, no, look, I think those that have to go back, it's because they're funded by their governments. So the schools need to decide whether they allow government funding. And, so I don't know if when I graduated from MIT, you could work in America for 1 year. My daughter's boyfriend is studying at UC Berkeley, and he's graduating with a STEM degree. And now you got 4 years. So I would make it better for the smartest people to stay. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to earn a lot of money, and they're going to pay taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's the biggest problem I see with what's going on in the States now is just like certainly in academic circles, like the funding uncertainty and all of this anti-immigrant stuff is making it so that the U.S. is less of an attractive place to go and study as a foreign student as it used to be historically, and that's bad. I think I feel like that's bad for the U.S. I mean, it opens up opportunities for maybe American students more, but it's not like there were that many American students going into engineering. There was a need to bring in people to study engineering.
Well, I mean, if you just look at medicine, there is a deficit in physicians around the globe. There is a deficit in the UK. There is a deficit in Canada. There is a deficit in America. So the world does not produce enough doctors.
Right.
And
what's the fundamental reason you think? Like, if you had to put your finger on, or the biggest reason?
We have an aging population.
Okay. So
one thing. So every day in the U.S., 10,000 people turn 65. We have right now, the wealthiest generation is the boomer generation, and they are aging. And so globally, November 2024, there were 830 million people on this planet over the age of 65. We have countries such as Japan and Italy, where they have massive aging populations, and it's coming to us too. Yeah. So how do you treat people that are aging? And you need physicians, you need nurses, you need people that are interested in that area. And how many new medical schools are there in Canada? I think the last one was at Laurentian. So give me a break. It's not like we're making new medical schools. It's difficult to get in. I mean, so we're not making it easy.
We're not making it easy to get in, and many of those people studying to be a doctor don't become a general practitioner, and that's, I think, in particular in Canada, the one that we are falling down the most on.
They're not paid enough.
Yeah,
they're not paid enough.
No,
What?
absolutely. Yeah.
Right? If medical students are not choosing to be a GP, then GPs are not paid enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I don't think the answer is just, at least because we cannot necessarily as a society or societies afford to pay more. I think we need to rethink, and medicine is a good example of this. I personally strongly think we need to rethink how we educate people. I think we need the whole thing about how we do it at universities and all, even in high school and leading up to this, that what we teach, how we teach it, how long we teach it, does a medical degree and all of the things to become a specialist physician require. I know if you want to become a surgeon, I'm sure this hasn't changed.
It depends on the type of surgery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think in North America, you have to do your undergrad first before you go to medical school. In the UK, at Oxford and at Cambridge, you just go directly into it.
Most of the world.
Yeah.
Right. So
there you go. That's what I'm saying. That's stupid. I think that's right. I personally think that's stupid. And there are tons of great doctors that come out of places like South Korea or the United Kingdom, and they don't have that system where it's the same in Canada, right? But you need an undergrad degree first before you even qualify for the flight.
It's also difficult to get your license when you're transferring your credentials into other countries. So, I mean, I think if you're licensed in the US or you're licensed in Canada, you're licensed in Italy, you're licensed, like there are certain countries that if you are a licensed doctor, you should have mobility.
Yes.
I think if you're a member of if you graduate from a, like I say, medical school, for example, and you graduate from a university within the G7 or the Commonwealth, there's some overlap. I think you should have more mobility. But
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think that should be semi-automatic. I do kind of think there's an argument for, certainly no argument for the racist side of this, but I do think it's come to light with some evidence recently. If you're talking about places like India, where a lot of people have immigrated to Canada, and it turns out now that there was a very substantial number of fraudulent, people claiming fraudulent things to get in, and that could, conceivably at least, be with medical qualifications too. I do think there's probably an argument to some degree for a little bit more robust inquiry. But if you're from a G7 country, these are our friends or allies, right?
Yeah.
And then it should be pretty easy process. But I also think, combined with that, like I was saying, I do think education, and just not just medical, I think we're due for a major overhaul, like philosophically, even how people get educated. Like for example, I mean, I have worked in the information technology field in and out in multiple different ways and around, and hired lots of software developers over the years, and always the best, or programmers, whatever.
Right.
Always the best ones that I've met. Like most of them, frankly, are like high school dropouts and former cokeheads. I'm not even fucking exaggerating. I'm not. But and I'm not going to name any names here, but you can go through my LinkedIn, folks.
Well, but I mean, look, if you are a successful programmer and you have been, with the background that you're stating, you've done over 10,000 hours of just coding because you enjoy coding. I mean, it's not like you, they might have been doing whatever, but they still, whatever they were doing, they love to code.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
They're great.
Right. So, I mean, coding is a skill. It is an art. And I mean, my sister, she's a programmer. So she was part of the team that developed Maya, and they won an Oscar for that, for Nemo, Lord of the Rings, and The Matrix. Oh, wow. So those people can code. I mean, I remember she had this thing. So she's a specialist, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, and I'm all wrong, and she's going to kill me. But she's a specialist in manta ray, so light refraction. So she was part of the team, and there's a lot of videos with her. She did all of the computer graphics for Far Cry 6. And one of the characters in that video game is my mom.
Oh, that's awesome.
Does your mom know this?
Well, my mom passed away before Far Cry 6 was. So my mother was dying, and Stephanie ensured that there was an homage to our mother. So Big Mama, I think that's her name. So it's this rebel old lady with white hair. That's my mom.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. So, So I mean, Stephanie's very talented, and she works with a lot of people that they've just been coding their whole lives, but that's just what they love to do. Just Wayne Gretzky, when he was little, all he wanted to do was play hockey. Try getting him in the house. He just wanted. It's the same thing with these guys that are coders, right? It's the same. So, let me
interject. So let's go back to your mom for a second, shall we?
Yeah.
Big Mama, and sorry, what was that animated film she was in again?
Far Cry 6 is a video game.
Far Cry 6.
You're not a gamer.
I mean, you can tell I am not a gamer. But wait, you know what? I was ecstatic. I was in New York recently, and in the hotel they had, and this subsequently I saw it again elsewhere, but they had an old Pac-Man thing, where you sit down, and it was playing. It's it's the riot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna get the proper name. Far Cry 6. I think it's Big Mama. I mean, Big Mama. Yeah. So, okay, it's Lucky. Is it Lucky Mama? Yeah. So this is, I don't know if you can see it.
Well,
This
what I'm
is-
going to do, I'm going to, okay, see, that's what I wanted. So you're doing it for me. I wanted you to show me a picture of this character.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's my mom. Yeah. So,
And does she have the characteristics of your mom or some of them? Or, right?
yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
My mother was a character. I mean, I'm not a gamer.
Yeah.
I mean, and I remember my mom just yelling at my sister that she was going to waste her life playing all these video games. Well, and so, with my kid, totally into video games, and he asked me for a gaming computer, and he was 10, and I said, "You want a gaming computer?" And he's like, he wanted this expensive gaming computer. I said, "No, you got to build it." He's like, "What?" I go, "You put together," I showed him how to use Excel. I go, "You put together a spreadsheet with links of what you want and what you need to put together this computer, and I'll buy it. Daddy and I will buy it for you."
Right.
And this 10-year-old, he did everything, and he submitted it. And then my ex-husband, he went through it and he did a few corrections, and then Matthew put it together, and he's been putting together computers ever since. And he got into engineering. So you plant a potato, you get a potato. And he's starting so he's starting. I'm very excited for him.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope to go to his iron ring ceremony because I can.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you all engineers in your family?
I am. My ex-husband is also, he's a PhD in engineering. My daughter is an artist doing political science, so she rebelled. And then my son is in engineering, and he's going to be going to the West Coast. So very exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I don't know whether we probably don't have much more time. We always have time for you, but just to go on, like I guess I'll kind of bring it to a close, but for special thanks, of course, to you, Nadine, for coming on here in our very budding podcast. But of course, it will be absolutely, I'm trying to make my hands as small as possible when I say this. It will be absolutely huge, or however he says it. He with a fucking absolutely a lowercase h. I'm not going to, don't mention the name anyway, because I may have to go there sometimes, but it's going to be huge in the future. And, you will be on here and people will come back, including us.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. I mean, hopefully next time we can all do it in Malta.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah.
I think you guys should take it on the road.
Yeah. And even maybe an intermediary step could be, or maybe it is in Malta, like we do it from the room, what do you call that, where they have the safety deposit boxes, where all your tiaras.
The vault?
The vault. Do it from the vault. Although the reception.
Next time I'm on, we have to be together, and we'll all be wearing tiaras.
There you go.
There you go. And in the meantime, we are planning, folks, to do a karaoke, as they.
Oh, I love karaoke. I'm so bad.
Yeah. So we'll do it. But yeah, thanks so much for coming on and doing this. And Trevor, I really hope you recorded all of us, because he alluded to it, but you don't know the backstory. One of the best ones, if not previous to yours, that was the best one, I think. It got fucked up, pardon my Swahili, because it was I was talking and the other person was talking. Then when it came to Trevor, who didn't talk for like the first 5 minutes, and I'm going through listening to it, and like none of the sound was coming out.
Oh,
I had recorded with like system only, not microphone sounds, so none of my talking came through, and we usually have a backup of a second recording, and that backup failed, but I have the transcript, so now I have to go back through and like dub over myself.
Yeah, dude. Also, you have to pick the voice. Are you gonna do Stephen Hawking?
No, I'm just gonna record myself in when I was speaking, but like try and match my.
Oh, you should use a robot voice. What are you talking about?
Voice, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I've done this. I did it very recently. In fact, 11 Labs. The guy's like, at least on paper, who knows, a billionaire who started this company, right? It's voice mimicking. Did you know this, Nadine? No. So you can literally put your voice in. Like you can put some samples of your voice in, and then you can. I'm trying to remember how I did it. I put the voice in, and I put the whole recording of my voice in English, of course. And then I wanted to translate that basically, and with my voice, translate it into Chinese and Spanish, because the one guy is in Colombia.
Yeah.
I know there's a family connection to you in Colombia, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Your mom, right? Your mom was
my mother. Yeah. That's why she's like Lucky Mama or Big Mama or.
There you go. So I did it in Spanish for this one guy, and I did it in Chinese for the other person, the woman. And it's so weird, like, to hear it. Like, it's definitely my voice, but I'm like, on one of them, it's like I'm speaking Chinese fluently, and the other one's Spanish fluently. Let's try it.
You picked like the accent so that you would be speaking Chinese, but with a Canadian or an American accent.
Yes, in a way, because it's picking up my voice. Although I don't know, unless I was fluent in those languages, I wouldn't really know, but you would know.
I would know. I mean, so like in Spanish, there's different accents, right? So that's why I asked, like, you can.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like, maybe it's Spanish from the barrio of LA or something.
Is it? Oh, he froze?
He froze. Quick, say something nice. Oh, there we are. You're back.
I thought it was frozen because you were like shocked at what I said. I'm like, what did I say? Yeah. Well, this is what happens when you record live remotely. So to your point, Nadine, at some point we shall do it all together. Maybe in Malta. I don't know. Maybe
definitely someplace warmer, because it's been a pretty cold winter. So
Texas. No. Well, yeah. I you know what? Maybe like Latin America. So we could try your.
There you go.
Okay, so I'm going to close it out. So thank you to you guys and to the audience, of course, all our high octane friends. And Nadine's a great example of what it means to the epitome, really, of being high octane. Arguably, we all are, but really, this is the Nadine show, Nerdine, as you put it. So thank you, and please comment. Please be kind, especially to animals. And just remember that we're all earthlings.
We are.
Yes,
we are.
So, we have a lot in common, because think about this, right? Here we are, and we're in Malta. We're in Toronto. We have probably visitors from Japan and Australia and Swaziland and South Africa. I don't know. But you might have people listening in from Iran. But at the end of the day, if we were all suddenly to be imminently invaded by aliens, surely we would all pull together, right? So just remember.
There's a movie like that.
Yes, of course. So thank you again. And that's it for today, folks. Come back next time, and we'll have even more treats for you. Sayonara.
Thank you.
Thanks.